On this week's episode of MATC Now, we'll explore the welding program and experience the Ramadan Mukbank event at the downtown campus. With spring break right around the corner, join Chef BellaDee while she whips up another delicious recipe that all of you can enjoy at home. All this and more coming up on MATC Now. Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of MATC Now. I'm your host, Courtney Bondar, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Michael Rosen from the Fast Fund organization here at MATC. Michael, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I'm delighted to be here, Courtney.
I'm delighted to have you here with me as well. Could you tell me just a little bit about yourself?
I'm a retired professor of economics from Milwaukee Area Technical College and former president of the Faculty Union Local 212, which started the Fast Fund.
Wonderful. Now, before we get a little too much into the Fast Fund, we'll save that for later, because first, I want to check in with our field correspondent, Genesis Lopez, to see what she has for us here at MATC.
Thank you, Courtney. We are currently in the time of Ramadan, the holy month of fasting. So make sure to stick around for more on this special event.
That looks so exciting. I can't wait to explore more about the event. But first, let's take a look at what student producer Leslie Garcia learned about the MATC Fast Fund project. And let's also take a look at student accommodation services with student producer KJ Radetsky.
MATC has helped students achieve their career goals in so many ways, but sometimes our finances outside of school can get in the way of staying focused on our goals. That's why MATC offers Fast Fund. Let's meet Elizabeth Francis and learn more about what they got to offer.
I am the current executive director. Previously, it was founded about 6 years ago by Dr. Michael Rosen. And at the time, he had just retired, as he had been an economics instructor here for about 29 years. And then he had been the union president at AFT 212 for 17 of those years. And upon his retirement, he founded this organization. It was initially run all by volunteers, and then it's just grown like crazy. And so I took over a year and a half ago as the first paid employee.
Students have been able to find great financial help through Fast Fund these last 6 years. But not only that, they're the only source of assistance for GED and ESL students.
I mean, expenses that students need help with are all over the board. I mean, it's every basic need you can think of. It's with childcare, it's with toiletries, it's gas, tuition, debt that they owe to the college so they can re-enroll, books, that sort of stuff, rent. Something that I think a lot of community members probably don't know is that Wisconsin Community College students face about $8,000 of unmet need every year. So after that student gets all of their FAFSA, their federal financial aid, their Pell Grants, they get any scholarships and grants, they contribute whatever they can, their estimated family contribution, there's $8,000 of stuff that they cannot afford. And so it's a constant struggle, right? And we just would rather have students be able to concentrate on their studies, and so we can help pay for some of those things.
In the previous years, donations come from faculty, staff, and community members. But only recently, they've been receiving private and public grants.
Ultimately, my goal, at the Fast Fund is not only helping students with direct aid, but we also are here to advocate on students' behalf so that things change at the college, so that you all are better served and you are taken care of, and there's more wraparound services, right? So what I'm always saying is to the college, to the administration, is put me out of a job. I don't want to have this job. I wish that things at the college were such that students were taken care of throughout their education at MATC, but they're not. And it's not a blame game, it's just the reality of the situation. So let's work together to try to change that.
With the help of sponsors and your donation, the Fast Fund can continue helping students with any needs.
Whatever the restrictions may be, we're trying to lift those barriers. We're trying to not make it difficult to get help. So if they just go to our website, which is matcfastfund.org, there's a tab that says for students. They fill out the application, and we have a volunteer staff that we try to get in touch with people within 24 to 48 hours.
As college students, sometimes it can feel like a real challenge to balance life and work. But for some individuals, it may be a challenge to access tools or curriculum that may be second nature to you or I, an aspect that Esther Ziegler, a disability specialist here at the downtown campus, is acutely aware of.
I help students with providing the services that they are looking for that will assist them in achieving their academic goals. So not just that they have access here, because everyone has access to come to MATC. Just because you have permission to walk through the doors of MATC doesn't mean that you won't face any barriers.
And usually, assisting students means more than teaching equipment, but also listening.
I enjoy meeting them and enjoy being able to hear about their personal struggles. I can see where you're coming from. To some degree, I can relate, letting them know that I'm there with you.
And her understanding of this portion of the community comes from a place of genuine empathy.
So I feel that I can come from a position of compassion quite easily because I am a part of the disability world myself.
And despite Esther's level of compassion, she feels she's still waiting on the rest of the world to catch up.
I often wish that this world was made accessible to all kinds of people, as opposed to me trying to adjust to society. It would be nice if they could just adjust as a universal design for everybody and anybody, because thinking about what your requirements are on a minute-by-minute basis can be mentally fatiguing. And so for these students, I don't want them to have to work so hard at even the smallest tasks, because they've got a bigger goal to focus on, doing well in their classes, getting their degrees. I just don't want their disability to take away from any of their passion and pursuit of the goals. Speaking from personal experience, it's not the easiest thing to ask for help. We are here for our students. I always say that it doesn't necessarily hurt to ask, because all someone can say is no, and then you just walk away. But if you never ask, then you potentially lose out on an opportunity that could have been really great.
Kindness, patience, and sympathy. Just a few of the many qualities that make Esther a crucial member of MATC.
Of this pandemic, the FAST Fund provided financial assistance to a record of 443 students. So it's so great to know all of the amazing work they are doing. I'm also so appreciative of everything Esther and Student Accommodation Services are doing as well. To find out more information about these programs, please check it out on our digital shorts on our YouTube page. Now let's check back in with Genesis to learn more about the end of Ramadan celebrations.
Thanks, Courtney. We are on the 9th month of the Muslim calendar and the holy month of fasting. Here at the MATC downtown campus, a special Ramadan celebration is being held on the 6th floor of the M building. And we also have here Mora, who will lead us to learn more about this special celebration. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Awesome. So I see we have food here.
Yes.
What is served here today?
Today we had some bread with hummus, salad, we had some chicken and rice.
That sounds so delicious.
It was.
So how long has this event been part of this event here at MATC?
This is the first event we've ever held in MATC's history. It's what we call iftar. That is the meal to break fast after a full day of fasting from sunrise to sunset, where we don't eat or drink anything, including water.
That's really interesting. And how has this brought the students together at MATC, or at least the Muslim community?
You know, this is the first event, and today it was really beautiful to hear from students who felt really included. They felt like they were seen, they felt like they had a place to go, and they were able to hear stories from other students who had the similar struggles of maybe fasting alone or not having family because their families are in other countries.
Oh, so tell me a little bit about Ramadan and how do you guys prepare for it?
So we typically prepare by purchasing a lot of food ahead of time because when you're tired and you're fasting, it's a little challenging to have to cook, and so we buy a lot of food and we might even freeze it, and that way on the days we're not fasting, we can just cook and then eat and focus on self-reflection and worship and family.
That's really beautiful. And how does MATC support the Muslim community overall?
Well, this is the first event that we've had, so we're hoping that from here on out we're able to identify students who can form a Muslim student association, and then the DEI office, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, as well as the college can provide them with resources to continue to have events like this.
That's beautiful. That's really great. So is this event supported by anybody else in the community outside of MATC?
Yes, we actually had all of the food donated by one of our local mosques. They purchased it from one of our local restaurants. The Islamic Society of Milwaukee purchased it from the Pita Palace, and then we had people donate different kinds of desserts. So it was really supported a lot by the entire community.
So I saw you guys had some special guests here earlier. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I'm an instructor of English as a second language. So we had a number of my students serve on a panel. They are all from different countries. They were mostly from Afghanistan and Iran. They talked a little bit about their stories and how they celebrate Ramadan and what it means to them.
That's beautiful. So that's really interesting. And well, thank you so much for being here and for letting the whole MATC campus learn about the Muslim community. And if you would like to join the second Muslim Ramadan, there will be another one taking place this Wednesday. So make sure to check that out on the events page of the MATC website. Back to you, Courtney.
Now let's take a look at what student producer Andrew Simon found while exploring the welding program.
MATC has a vast array of outstanding programs. One that stands out in particular is the Welding Technology program. What differs with MATC's welding program from others is that they not only offer a 2-year program, but they also offer a 1-year diploma program as well.
Right now we are the only program that offers stuff for CWI. So we have the associate degree program here and the 1-year diploma program. So the 2-year associate degree, you get CWI stuff, you get the robots and more of how stuff works, more to get into the metallurgy, where most of the schools are all 1-year program. We have a 2-year and a 1-year.
So MATC has some of the most top-of-the-line equipment along with robotic welders, and they really give you a space to sort of practice and get better and better on your own terms.
There's more to welding than meets the eye. It's not all about the technical aspect, but also the paperwork and understanding the science.
Besides just eye-hand coordination, getting used to that, but math, very important. They'll need to know decimals to fractions. You know, there's all those other things that go along with welding that a lot of people don't think about. Reading blueprints, it doesn't matter how good you can weld, if you can't read a blueprint and put the weld on the wrong side or build the part wrong, it doesn't matter. So there's a lot more involved in just the welding.
It's hard, especially because I'm an international student, so because it's in a whole different language, so it's really hard, but I still doing it. Chemicals, chemistry, or like physical or mechanical properties. It's just crazy. I didn't know welding was gonna be like this, but it is.
Students that pursue a career in the field of welding won't have an issue finding a job. Companies hire students from an array of different roles and are not just limited to welding in the shop.
One thing is that they've taught us a lot of different welding processes, not just the basics, so I have a wider variety of skills than I thought I would have.
Well, right now, the market is just, everybody's begging for people. And there's not a lot of places in this area that have, like, you can't go for weld engineering unless you go to Michigan or something. So a lot of the companies around here will hire our students out of the associate program to kind of take on that role as the weld engineers. So there's everything from working in the shop, starting to weld. We've had students that are writing the weld procedures, doing inspections. I mean, it's pretty much all over the place what they want. Some are getting apprenticeships, going into either like pipe fitting, iron. We have a couple that have gone to iron workers union. The welding's just kind of a stepping stone to get into some of those other things.
When pursuing a program like Welding Technology, you have to have a lot of motivation and understanding of the aspects of the career.
It might be hard, it might be a lot, but it isn't. It's just a matter of you putting yourself into the work and you'll do it. It's just a matter of spending time and reading and finding out what you really need to in order to weld and melt properly.
Definitely expect paperwork. It's not just going to be welding. There's a lot that goes along with it other than that, and the job itself is it looks simplistic on the outside, but once you really get into it, start looking at it, there's a lot of different factors that make it a lot more complex than you would ever know.
You're going to get burnt once in a while. There's sparks, and it doesn't hurt long, so.
This is some great insight into the welding program here at MATC. But after learning about the FAST Fund program, I do have a few questions for Dr. Michael Rosen, who's the founder of the FAST Fund. So Michael, tell me how the FAST Fund got started here at MATC.
It got started because we recognized that one of the major obstacles students faced in succeeding academically was economic insecurity. And we felt that in many cases, just a handful of dollars could help someone overcome a shortness of rent or the inability to buy a textbook, and that if that could help students succeed, we, the faculty, should do everything we can to help them.
Oh, of course. And how has it benefited students long term?
Well, when we started the first year, we helped 26 students. It was kind of a pilot. This year, we've already helped over 1,000 students. Wow. And we've had many success stories. One example is a woman named Bria Burris, who, when we met her, she was homeless with her 2 children. Today, she's fully employed by the Housing Authority of Milwaukee, and she sits on the MATC board. That's really the goal of the FAST Fund, to help students succeed.
Exactly. And how have you guys expanded since starting?
Well, I mean, we've expanded, I think, because faculty put information about the FAST Fund in their syllabi. Word of mouth among students gets out that the FAST Fund is here. And of course, we've expanded our reach in fundraising, gone well beyond the faculty and the retirees, who were really the original supporters of the FAST Fund. We've gotten a lot of support from the broader community. The city of Milwaukee has funded us, Milwaukee County has funded us, and most recently Gwen Moore, our congresswoman, got us an earmark. So we've expanded the fundraising, of course, as the demand for assistance has grown.
Of course, and it seems like you guys have achieved a lot since being in this program and having it here at MATC. Could you walk me through the steps of what it's like to start in the program and make your way to achieve success?
For a student?
Yeah.
A student has to fill out an online application. That application goes to the FAST Fund office, and then a student worker, a woman who works for the FAST Fund, who's a part-time student at MATC, sends the application out to one of the volunteer staff. We go over it, we call the faculty member who is listed as a reference, because we require a faculty reference. Once we get that reference, assuming that it's a positive one, we contact the student and discuss their need with them. We also will discuss whether there are other funding opportunities out in the community or at MATC itself. And then, of course, if there's a gap in funding or assistance that we can't get from elsewhere, we'll step in and provide it, whether it's purchasing a book or helping pay off some of their debts so that they can register again, whether it's providing gas cards, whatever the need is to help students get over the hump so they stay enrolled and can focus on their academics.
Of course. And how has your role benefited these students and benefited the program and reach your goals in helping students and giving them aid?
Well, my goal was really when we started this, just to set up a fund that would help students overcome these economic insecurities so they could stay enrolled. My role started as running it, and as it grew and grew, I had retired and it had turned into a full-time job, unpaid, of course, because I was a volunteer. And at a certain point, we realized that this required a full-time executive director And so I moved away from running the program. We hired Liz Franchuk, who's doing a tremendous job. She's also a part-time Spanish instructor at the college and has a great background as a business manager at Anodyne as well. We hired her, and so now I work on the staff and I'm on the board of directors. I want to stay involved, but it was time to turn the reins over to someone who's younger and ready to take the lead.
Of course. And speaking of that, what is the future of the Fast Fund program?
Well, the future will, as long as there is a need, and of course, MATC students, the overwhelming majority of them are low income. Many are single parents who are really struggling to pursue an education while they work and while they raise their families. And so while there's a need for the FAST Fund, we'll continue to hustle money and provide students with the assistance they need. Our long-term goal would be to be put out of business.
I believe it. I believe it.
You know, I mean, college should be free.
Yes, I absolutely agree, 100%.
It should be free so that students don't have to worry about paying tuition or keeping a roof over their heads.
Absolutely.
They shouldn't have to make those kind of choices.
And they shouldn't. And I want to thank you for giving me your time and all this wonderful information about the Fast Fund program here at MATC, you and your role especially, and helping students indeed. So thank you, Michael, once again.
Well, thank you for highlighting the Fast Fund and its work. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. It's been a pleasure indeed. But I do, however, smell something beautiful cooking in the kitchen. Seems like Chef BellaDee has a very refreshing treat to quench our taste buds this spring break. Let's see what's cooking over there, Chef BellaDee.
Thanks, Courtney. Spring break's around the corner, and I can't stop dreaming of picnics. They've been around for hundreds of years, basically invented them whenever people started eating. Today, we're taking advantage of the new season of produce to create a veggie hummus wrap, fruit skewers, and an elevated lemonade. For today, we'll be working with these ingredients. There's tortillas, hummus, cucumbers, arugula, peppers, some strawberry, banana, kiwi, and that lemonade. These were the things that we had on sale this week, and feel free to swap out anything that is on sale at your local grocery store. And before we jump into things, make sure that you've got a nice sharp knife, a spoon or a spatula, skewers, and of course our picnic basket. But let's start with those wraps. I'm gonna grab my tortilla here and go straight in with the hummus because I've already cut up all my little cucumber and pepper and even my fruit. Make sure to lay down a nice bed in the center. If you're more of a hummus fan, go ahead and throw a lot in there. It will help kind of everything stick in there nice too. So once you've got your kind of size and shape of your final wrap kind of sorted out with your hummus, you can go ahead and put in some of that arugula. I'm a big arugula fan because it's got a little kind of peppery flavor to it, and I think that helps out with the cucumber because the cucumber is kind of a little bit less of a flavor player. It's more that watery crispness that it provides there, and so do these sweet peppers. And I'm using the sweet ones because not only do they have a little bit of spice, but that touch of fructose in there will help pair it nicely to our skewers that we're making later, but it's not going to taste fully like dessert. So we've got everything layered up here nicely. I'm going to put in a couple more peppers just for the heck of it, and then go ahead and turn your edges in nicely so that everything's secured in the center, and fold your top back over and just get rolling. You want to keep everything nice and compact, smush it all together, and you can even use some little toothpicks like these ones here to keep everything nice and secure. But if you don't have them, you don't gotta. And onto that classic refreshing treat, those fruit skewers. I have strawberry, banana, and kiwi today, and that's, like I said, it was on sale. Bananas are always on sale, gotta love them. And you just chop them up and stick them straight on. Now, it's pretty easy. With your strawberries, you wanna make sure that you look them over before you buy them. Turn the package over, see what's on the underside, see if there's any little bits of mold or mush. But for kiwis, that's a pretty easy one, similar with cucumbers. Just grab them, make sure they don't feel too mushy, and that will do pretty nicely, especially when you know that they're in season. It's a lot safer bet to just pick up a seasonal fruit and know that you're gonna have a good time with it. All right. And once you've got your skewer as loaded up as you want to, we can move on to our lemonade. And you know, it doesn't have to be anything too fancy. You can use cookie cutters if you want those cute little shapes, but it's only as nice as you want it to be. But no picnic is complete without a beverage. Like I said, I've got lemonade here, but there's a pretty cool and easy way to make it a little bit more unique and intriguing. And we get to use up our leftovers too. So I've got cucumber, which I don't know if you've ever had a little hotel cucumber water, but it's very fancy. And so I'm just gonna stick them straight in there. And you know what? Strawberry lemonade, that's great too. Kiwi lemonade? Who hasn't heard of kiwi lemonade? I've heard of kiwi lemonade, definitely. And we just stick all those in there, and that's it, done, boom. The longer that you let them sit in there, the more that you'll taste those new flavors in there. Gonna let them marinate, let them get to know each other, and that's it. I do like to make everything the night before frolicking, saves a little bit of time in the morning, but that's about it. A simple, fresh, and delicious picnic made with in-season fruits and vegetables. Grab your blanket, grab your good buddies, and get ready for good weather. Stay safe all, and have good food. Back to you guys in the studio.
What a sweet and simple recipe. Wow. Now let's join Courtney for the MATC Minute and see what events are ahead.
Congratulations to the MATC Stormers men's basketball team for winning the NJCAA Division II National Championship. This is the first national championship in the college's history. MATC head coach Randy Casey was named coach of the tournament, and Mason Johnson was named tournament MVP. The Wisconsin 2023 spring election is Tuesday, April 4th. To see what's on your ballot, check your registration status and find your polling place. And more, visit myvote.wi.gov. Attend this career forum, workplace success, workplace etiquette, and best practices to learn more about preparing for success in the workplace. Make sure to attend Tuesday, April 4th from noon to 1 p.m. at the downtown Milwaukee campus in room 614. Join the ESL program in the Office of Student Life and celebrating the ESL Showcase on Tuesday, April 4th, located right outside the Mukbank campus cafeteria. Spring break is next week, which means classes, sun, and sorts of fun begin. I'm going to spend this spring break standing outside, so if anyone is asking, I'm outstanding.
Thanks, Courtney. Let's see what student producer Madison Levrow has for this episode's hidden geMKE.
Hi, I'm student producer Madison Levrow, and you're watching another hidden geMKE.
The We Got This program was started to give the kids a positive role model to look up to and to keep them out of trouble. Through June to August, they come down to 9th and Ring Street to help tend the gardens for the day. On Saturdays, they meet up, then go around the neighborhood picking up trash, heading back to the garden to work, then finishing up by going to empty lots to prep them for transformation into a garden. The kids then get paid $20 for their time spent on cleaning up the community.
When it's a little warmer out and the garden's in full bloom, they have about 75 to 80 kids come out to help. And last year, they put in 1,000 hours of work into the garden.
The program was started by Andre Lee Ellis. After seeing violence around his community, he looked to an empty lot across the street. Wanting to start a garden, Andre and a handful of boys got together on a Saturday in 2013 and made that empty lot into what it is today. The program has been running for almost 10 years now, and it helps teach kids skills like communication, collaboration, and problem solving, all the while providing food for the neighborhood and giving kids the opportunity to dream again.
And that looks like all the time we have for this in geMKE. I'm student producer Madison Levrow. See you next time.
Wow, what a place. I will definitely have to go and check it out. But for now, that's all the time we have left for today's episode. Thank you once again, Michael, for joining me today.
Courtney, it was a delight. Thank you for having me and highlighting the fast hunt.
Of course, and it was definitely a delight to have you here as well. And thank you for tuning in to another great episode of MATC Now. I'm your host, Courtney Bondar, and I'll see you next week.